Um, all right, are we recording? Yes, we are. Okay. I don't know where this is going to go to. Okay,
Okay.
so let's start out with like a brief introduction. So, want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm obviously Charlie Larson. I'm on the Minnesota men's gymnastics team. I'm 20 and I'm a sophomore. And this is my first season competing as an elite in men's artistic gymnastics. And yeah, I'm super excited.
Well, you sure did have a breakout competition for your season. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this was only my second meet in the past 2 years. I had a major knee injury, so I had to take a very long time off. But during that time, I had a lot of extra training time to prep for these competitions, and I came back stronger than I left and competed a triple double layout. Um, and that's just a skill I've been working towards for a very long time. And although like the rest of the routine didn't really go how I wanted, I was still really happy because I was able to like work towards a skill, work towards a goal and achieve it. And it was just a really big moment for me. And it was also just the first, one of the first major competitions I've had in a very long time. So
Well, can I just say, being there in person, seeing that 20 feet away was mind-boggling to say the least. So you spoke about your knee injury. So you had just come back from that. How did you go about coming back from a knee injury to become the first US male gymnast to compete this skill successfully in a competition, even though the rest of the routine didn't
yeah,
as you had planned?
yeah. So I injured my knee about a year and a half ago at Nationals JO in Reno, I believe. No, not Reno, Mesa. And I tore my MCL and broke the top of my tibia off. And I had to get two surgeries following that.
Yeah,
And they were telling me that my surgeon straight up told me that he did not think, he was like, if you're trying to make it to the next Olympics, it's not going to happen. And I kind of took that really personally.
yeah.
I think it was him trying to be protective, not get my hopes up. But I kind of took that as like okay, watch me do this. And I just grinded every
I feel
single
like that's
day.
every gymnast when they're told by a
Yeah.
doctor.
I just like it was like a switch flipped in my head. And I just knew that like if I want to make something happen, like it's in my hands.
Mhm.
I just grinded every single day, did therapy, like I kid you not, like actually 7 hours a day. It was insane. And
Uh,
then I knew back in like immediately after my injury, I knew I wanted to get a triple double layout.
so
Like
that
it
was
was like
like
that
coming
was like
back, that was like your goal.
yeah. And I felt crazy, completely crazy for thinking that because I could not even do it prior to the injury. So I was like, I have to get back.
God.
And I just like put in as much work as I could every single day, and it paid off. I felt very delusional for a long time, but yeah.
Amazing. Oh my God. That's incredible that you had firstly two surgeries and then came back better than you were. And then, yeah, that's just incredible. Can you speak a little bit to the training regimen that you had when coming back, like knowing that you had to treat your body better than you did before, doing harder gymnastics than prior?
Yeah, coming back, figuring out training was it was very difficult because as much as I wanted to push myself, I was coming back from an injury and I knew that what I did now was going to affect like the rest of my life in my training, and this injury kind of taught me like how much I need to prioritize my health and like be smart. There was a very fine line between hard work and overworking, and that took a really long time to figure out because even coming back, I did struggle with overworking because I wanted to come back so hard that I kept getting these minor little injuries. Like I sprained my ankle twice during the process, and it was just a very fine balance. And I feel like I'm finally kind of getting in the swing of figuring out like how much I need to do in order to be successful while pushing myself, but like not to the point of causing injuries again because I plan to be in the sport for a long time. So like I got to prioritize my body now.
Outside of the training, who and or what were the biggest factors that aided you overall in successfully being able to do this finally and achieve your goal?
Yeah. So for me, I would say the biggest like people in my life coming back from this were definitely my physical therapists. Because I spent like Monday through Friday in there. I had two physical therapists. Their names are Dan Tabalba and Angie Swanson, and they really became like my second family. Like, coming back from the injuries, they just helped me um realize my goals and like kept me accountable. And also just didn't allow me to push myself because I had really no idea where I was going with this, and they kind of guided me a lot. And then I would say once I got back into the sport, the biggest contributor to getting me back was Mike Burns, the
Love
Minnesota coach.
him. Icon,
Yeah,
legend. He is the
he
moment.
because I remember when I first came in the team, I straight up told him my goals.
How did that like boat over with contributing to the team as well as your own personal goals and like switching from JO mindset to contributing towards a team and not just yourself?
Yeah, so I just remember I came into his office and I was like, I straight up told him my goals that my goal this year is to make it to the Olympic trials. And I at the time I felt so crazy because I was not near there. I like still had a knee brace on. I felt crazy. But I was like, I need to start standing up for myself and believing in myself. So I told him I wanted to do everything I could, and train as hard as I could. And he believed me. And I feel like I haven't had many coaches that have believed me or trusted me, or just listened to me in the past. So it was just so nice having somebody that finally like was like ready to support me in everything I did. In terms of like switching into a team aspect too, made me realize like how important it is to have like such a good team environment in your gymnastics, and just having a
Mhm.
support system and having something to contribute to other than myself. Like I put all this into myself, but having like a team on the days where I'm not feeling good, I'm like, okay, I don't need to do this for myself today. I need to do this for them, was
Mhm.
just like nice to like not feel so like isolated all the time. And I've trained by myself for a very, very long time. The whole time coming back from my injury, I was pretty much by myself.
Oh,
And it's really nice just knowing that on the days that I don't believe in myself, I have other people that do.
Mike invests so much into the individuals he has on the team that they understand and see the purpose of what their contribution to the team as a whole.
Goal is to be competing at Winter Cup. We will see if that
Mhm.
happens.
So are you
There's a
petitioning?
I am petitioning, and
Good.
we will see
I'm glad to hear.
if that goes through. And if it does go through, that'll be my first chance at trying to make it to champs and trials. But it's not my last opportunity, so I'm just gonna keep training as if I am, and
Mhm.
pushing myself,
Good mindset.
and just not ready to give it up yet. So basically, I am not originally from men's artistic gymnastics. This is only I've only completed one full season I of
Mm.
men's gymnastics. I started back in 2019. And prior to that, I was strictly tram and tumbling, and I did that so I started gymnastics when I was 2 years old.
That's like early even
Gymnastics,
for gymnastics.
yeah, I don't remember joining. I don't remember the first like 4 years of gymnastics. So gymnastics really has been my whole life. And honestly, when I did injure myself, I kind of like went through this whole process because that was the first time I had a real break in
Yeah.
gymnastics that I couldn't control. Because like I could control, like COVID was a break, but that was out of my control. Yeah, so during that first, I would say that first month, when I did tear my, I had just had to take off from my injury, I really like contemplating being done with gymnastics because I was like, do I really like this sport, or if I just like gotten used to doing it and gotten good at it and just
Mhm.
like just gone with the flow. And then I think when I was told I had to have the second surgery and that like my career was possibly going to be over, I just like realized like how important this sport is to me, and like that there's just some like exterior motive for why I have these goals that I can't really explain, but that like it didn't feel done. Like it was like an intuitive moment that I like
Hmm.
needed to come back and um just like go for what I wanted. Originally trim tumbling from about the age of like six till I graduated high school, so 18. And I
Hmm.
quickly like got very good at that. So I went to my
Yeah.
first national team camp when I was like 10 or 11, and then uh made junior worlds a few times, won
Oh,
a few cups, world cups, and then my senior year I made senior worlds for tumbling specifically. And I was on all three national teams. I did all three events.
God.
I think I was like the first person to ever be put on all three national teams in 1 year on
Okay, so
for
you've
like
been breaking records your entire career.
yeah, I don't know how I got put on the trampoline national team, but it happened somehow. And then I started artistic along with trampoline tumbling when I was a freshman in high school. So I believe I was 16. Um, and I had wanted to do it for a while because I knew that when I graduated high school, I wanted to do gymnastics in college, and tram tumbling was just very difficult to do that in college because it's not a college
Yeah.
sport.
It's
So I also wanted to do artistic, not just because of like the college aspect, because I felt like in trauma tumbling, my gymnastics was becoming a lot more suited for artistic, and I just enjoyed it a lot more. And I felt like I had this feeling that like I had achieved everything I wanted, and if I did achieve more, and I definitely could have, I wouldn't have feel fulfilled.
mm-hmm.
So that it was getting to the point where I needed to move on um for my own like career. I did both artistic and trim tumbling freshman and sophomore year of high school, and that was very difficult because at the
Yeah.
time I was going to junior worlds, world cups, and then I was doing artistic at the same time.
Wow.
So I would practice like 3 hours tram tumbling, and then I drive to a different gym and do like 2 hours of artistic, and it was a
Oh my
lot, but
God.
I really did like it, and I ended up doing well that year in artistic. I made nationals as a floor specialist. It was a very hectic year. And then COVID happened, and I actually took off my junior season from artistic. So I took about an entire year and a half off from floor and ball in
Oh,
there.
wow.
And then I came back my senior year. So I really have only done like two and a half, three, about 2 years of floor and ball,
Oh
because
my
then I had
God.
my so I really
Yeah.
haven't been in this for the longest time. So I have a lot of competing experience, but in terms of like artistic, like it's not a
Mhm.
lot. I really value my time in tramp and tumbling
Mhm.
a lot more now than I did when I was in it, because I feel like it taught me so much like important like technique and form, and just a lot
Mhm.
of things I feel like kind of like separates me from some other people. Yeah, and I feel like it gave me such a unique perspective coming into artistic, because I had such like a different skill set to work with
Mhm.
than most people. And I feel like now, at first it was difficult because I felt like the odd one out, but where now I feel like it's actually making me stand out, and it's like translating just like a lot better and like finally like paying off. So I'm really
Good.
happy I had all that time in tramp and tumbling, and I made worlds, and I was doing the hardest routines, and like felt very good, and I was very capable of making next year's worlds, being national team, World Cups. And then I remember when I left, a lot of people were kind of like, oh, like why did you leave to go to artistic? Because now you kind of have to start over. And for a while I did feel like that. And I
Mhm.
sometimes do feel like that. I'm like on the days where I'm struggling and feel like I don't really have like much. I just didn't really have any like reputation, any like prior just like successes in artistic yet, that I felt really lost. and I was kind of like, why did I do this when I had all of that? And like did go on to do like another national team in another worlds. I was I was like, I don't think I would feel like as fulfilled as I am right now. Because right now I'm actively working towards my goals and dreams where then I didn't have any other like goals and
Hmm.
dreams. Of course, like I could have goals like I want to do this, but nothing in the same category of what I was working towards.
Hmm.
So I kind of like learned to value the process a lot more than the end, like the end goals.
Yeah.
Um, which I feel like is has completely changed my perspective in gymnastics. And helped me like push myself every single day because it is about the end goals, but I feel like the process of getting there is just like so much more fulfilling and worthwhile. So
Yeah, and it's the process that you notice that gets you through each day to get to that big end goal.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was amazing. I loved
Oh,
hearing
really?
about that. Thank you.
Yes, of course. I'm so happy I got to do this.